For us, it's strictly it's determining what our customers need versus what we can provide for them efficiently. And when we look at technology, and what we try to do is we try to combine our technology that we invest a lot of dollars into and try to distinguish ourselves between other distributors and that customer. And what can we do to partner with that customer to find that to save them money? Because at the end of the day, it's one thing for me for us to save money, but it's for another thing for me to provide a formula for them to save money as well on their end. If we start approaching efficiencies and trying to find out where we can do cost cutting, obviously it's all invariable. And people can be variable, but that's not normally the first place that you look. The first place you're probably going to look in is probably going to be in your maintenance factors. What can you go out there and do inside a plant to improve maintenance? That number can be a pretty big number. So that would be probably the first place that we would look. It would be in the maintenance factor. For us, related to Mayer Electric, we go out and try to figure out ways that we can save our customer money in terms of how we sell the products to them. How can we get them to receive less? How can we make our purchase orders larger and have them and less shipments? So there's a lot of things that we can relate those two businesses to. Shipping can be, there's all kind of variations to shipping. So that'd probably be number two that I would look at, would be on the shipping side, and what can we do to save monies on the shipping piece. Because if you're actually coming out of Mexico, there's going to be about 15 avenues that you can take it to market with, and that would probably be one of the things that we'd have to investigate first. Obviously you're trying to produce a quality product. You really don't want to cut corners on the quality piece. That would probably be something I would look at from a people perspective and how many people we need to have out there, and then what our standards are for quality. If you start approaching fixed costs, your tooling is probably going to be the biggest one in SEWMEX, and your tooling is upgradable. The machine you buy today is outdated tomorrow because of technology. So, what are the ways that we can spend money and invest money into higher end technology, and obviously save maybe some labor? And what happens is your variable cost, your people become variable at that point. And if you can do more with less people, then that's obviously a place that you can cut. From a manufacturing standpoint, they're about volume. The manufacturer is all about volume, and what they're trying to do is try to put as many orders to the pipeline as they can to produce, and that lowers the cost of that product going out to the end user. From a manufacturer standpoint, I still think quality shipping is, the biggest mistake they can make in a manufacturer is downtime from machining, and then bad product going out the back door. Those are your two biggest issues in a manufacturing plant. When you lose and not delivering on time, because that's their biggest dilemma, is shipping on time, because they can't account for machine breakdown, and they can't account for union strike. They can't account for a lot of things that sometimes are out of their control. A break-even point for us, from Mayer Electric standpoint, remember we're a distributor product, and our two biggest assets in our company are basically two things, our liabilities, I should say. It's our inventory, and it's our AR, accounts receivable. But when I push product out the door, it's about turning inventory. It would be the same thing in SEWMEX. It's about turning that inventory quickly. We have to make a minimum margin percentage of 18% for it to go out the door and for us to handle it. If it's a direct ship from factory to customer, our minimum percentage is between 8 and 10%. So those are kind of those are some of our break-even points. So anything up above that or below that is whether we make money or lose money. I think it creates a lot of uncertainty. The only comparison I can give you is an analogy of a company that built a $4.3 billion plant in South Alabama, known as Krupp. They're a steel plant, and they spent $4.3 billion in that plant. Why did they buy it? They built it because the exchange rate on the euro versus the dollar was very, very good at the time they built it. As the economy changed and as the exchange rate changed in the marketplace, they found out that investment wasn't as good as it was planned. They had a 5-year plan. Today, that plant has sold both the steel and the carbon side of that plant because of exchange rates. So, it can fluctuate your business tremendously. I'm not familiar with where the peso is as compared to the dollar, and what the extent of that would be over time. But there's a lot of our manufacturing that we have located in Mexico. So my guess is today's economy can still sustain that, and there's still cheaper labor there than it is here, because unions obviously are running that business for us here in this country. But what I'm seeing is a change because the exchange rate is improving, because the economies are stabilizing with the exception of China. The businesses are coming back into this country because the quality of product that was coming out of those countries have dropped. And Mexico's affected, Japan's affected, Korea's affected. So what you're seeing is our manufacturers are coming back. My guess is SEWMEX would have a similar scenario where they would end up potentially moving material back, depending on whether they're inventorying that there or actually doing production there.